Hello all. Today I'll be discussing the monetary policy for the country Chile. So starting with the introduction, Chile is a highly diversified economy with a mix of industries that include mining, agriculture, forestry, fisheries, manufacturing, and services. It has a reputation for sound economic policies and strong institutions which have helped it to weather various economic shocks in the past. The Central Bank of Chile structures its monetary policy employing a conceptual framework of inflation targets, which is complemented by a floating exchange rate regime. The entails the commitment to use the appropriate instruments to ensure that annual CPI inflation remains most of the time around 3% with a tolerance range of plus minus 1 percentage point. So Chile's institutions have successfully delivered macroeconomic stability. This has helped to weather three major shocks. In 2019, widespread social unrest revealed deep-rooted discontent with economic and social inequalities. In 2020, the COVID-19 pandemic took a steep toll on lives and livelihoods and led to the sharpest contraction of economic incomes in 40 years. In 2022, the Russian aggression on Ukraine and global supply shortages exacerbated strong inflationary pressures with rising prices pounding hard on families. The monetary policy. The monetary policy rate is the main operational instrument of the monetary policy. The board of the central bank discusses and sets the level of this interest rate as its monetary policy meetings and communicates a trajectory that achieves the inflation goal over 2-year terms. In practice, the monetary policy rate determines the level of daily interbank lending rate and is implemented through open market operations. The monetary policy rate is at 11.25% and will remain at that rate until the state of the macroeconomic indicates that the conversion process of inflation to the 3% target has been consolidated. So inflation is currently very high. It is at around 14.1% at its peak, but it has been declining. It is expected to decline in 2023 and meet the 3% during the year 2024. So some of the main findings from the monetary policy are first coming to refining macroeconomic policy and reforming taxation. So the inflation which has risen to 14% and inflation expectations over the 2-year horizon now exceed the inflation target despite the timely monetary tightening. The current tax in rate of 21% GDP is insufficient for achieving sizable improvements in social protection and public services such as health and education and for achieving more inclusive and sustainable growth in the future. Strengthening productivity and competition. Lengthy and tedious municipal licensing procedures continue to hamper entrepreneurship and competition. Research and development spending is low. The competent authority has been undertaking market study of key sectors which revealed significant need for action. Third, strengthening social protection and job quality. Informal employment affects 25% of the workers. This precludes them from access to many social security benefits while reducing productivity and tax revenues. Low-income pensions have improved due to a novel guaranteed minimum pension, but middle-income earners and women have inadequate old age pension levels. Higher mandatory contributions raise the cost of formal job creation, driving many low-skilled workers into informality. Making growth for sustainable and greener. Legally binding long-term strategies for climate mitigation and adoption aims at carbon neutrality by 2050 and is expected to generate emission reductions before 2025, giving rise to a declining trend only slightly above the 1.5-degree compatible pathway range. In conclusion, the Chilean economy has continued with its adjustment process following the major imbalances it accumulated during 2021. Annual inflation in line with expectations peaked in the third quarter. Inflation expectations remain above 3% in the 2-year horizon. Private consumption continues to contract after the sharp increase it posted in 2021. Investment, on the other hand, surprised on the upside in the third quarter, concentrated in specific sectors such as renewable energy, which contributed to a widening of the current account deficit in the third quarter. The world economic outlook is complex given the high persistence of global inflation and the rate hikes by the central banks. The board has made significant adjustment in its monetary policy, which has contributed in the gradual easing of inflationary pressure and will allow confront these difficulties from a better position. However, the activity gap remains wide and inflation remains well above the target, both signs that the adjustment process of the Chilean economy is yet to be completed. The monetary policy rate is at 11.25% and will remain at that level until the state of the macroeconomy indicates that the conversion process of the inflation to the 3% target has been consolidated. Thank you.